Welcome, everybody, back to AuburnVersus.com, the final installment here of the regular season for Auburn University football. Mike Szvetitz, sports editor of the Opelika-Auburn News, here in the luxurious Opelika-Auburn News building. Just a year old. We had a birthday party a couple weeks ago with Collin, Mickle, Auburn University beat writer.
I miss everything.
You do, man. You're working too hard.
Unbelievable.
You work too hard. Iron Bowl. What can we expect? Two teams, a 6-5 and a 7-4 team. Not the teams, not the build-up, so to speak, on the field as everybody expected this year with two teams that have talent. But what can we expect from this installment of the Iron Bowl in 2007?
Well, you're absolutely right. Both teams are backing into this game, really as badly as they could. You can expect a close game. You can expect an exciting game. It's such a cliche to say you throw out the records and everybody plays hard, but it's a cliche because it's true. I mean, you go back, and even when this has been a good team and a very bad team, or two good teams, it's been an exciting game. Just because it's two, frankly, mediocre teams right now does not mean you shouldn't expect a lot of excitement in this rivalry.
And this does have some implications as far as bowl games. Auburn is still playing for a New Year's Day bowl berth. Alabama's playing for a bowl game.
And a warm climate for the beat writers, mind
exactly, and a nice city to go to. And Alabama's playing for a bowl berth, period.
Right.
And obviously, this is the 5 in a row for Auburn. They've won, going for a record 6. Auburn's never beaten Alabama 6 times in a row. Got all these storylines and subplots, and then you've got the coaches' stories on the outside. What's the biggest plot of this game? Is it the players, is it the X's and O's, or is it just the pageantry of the Iron Bowl?
Well, I think the biggest subplot is the possibility of 6 consecutive wins for Auburn in this rivalry. It's never been done in school history. Brandon Cox has a chance to be the second Auburn quarterback to be 3-0 as a starter against the Tide. Jason Campbell is the other. To clarify, Alabama obviously is bowl eligible, but if they lose this game Saturday, there's a good chance that they'll be left out because the SEC only has 8 bowl bids, and they'll have 10, bowl eligible teams. So the Tide could get lost in the shuffle there. Anyway, but I think really Auburn's chance for 6 in a row and Alabama's chance to snap a 5-game, a stinging 5-game losing streak in this rivalry is the number one subplot.
And Alabama has not won a game in November since 2005, the first week of 2005. They're 0-8 in November.
And 3-13, I think, in the last 4 years. It's phenomenal.
They have a terrible November streak, and with this game coming in, if you look at it, you talk about keys to the game, and you talk about things to watch out. What's 1 or 2 things for both teams that they'll need to do in this game, X's and O-wise, to win?
Well, obviously, this is another thing that, you get into some cliches. You're always going to have a better chance to win a game when you run the football. You're always going to have a better chance when you take care of the football, when you stop the run, when you force turnovers. But the biggest thing for both of these teams is avoiding mistakes on offense. Brandon Cox and John Parker Wilson, the 2 quarterbacks, have been mistake-prone. They just can't give away possessions because that's the thing that sparks these otherwise ineffective offenses to score some points. I really think, and I said this somewhere, I think in print for our newspaper, the winner will probably be either the first team to 17 points or the last team to 3 turnovers. I mean, this could be an ugly but exciting game.
Quarterback play is so important in this game because, like you said, both quarterbacks, John Parker Wilson and Brandon Cox, have thrown numerous interceptions. Have really, when they play well, their team wins. When they play poorly, their team loses. There could be some underlying story. Alabama gets the 5 players back from the suspensions,
including some very good ones.
Glenn Coffey, Antoine Caldwell. Offensive line is going to be reshuffled again for a running game that was good in the beginning of the season with Terry Grant. So some players get back. Auburn will get Tristan Davis, supposedly be healthy. He might return kicks, might even run the football. Who are some players to watch other than the quarterbacks in this game?
Well, Tristan Davis is one for Auburn who, if he plays, has a chance to make a huge impact. He's a guy who, Auburn fans know the kid is a playmaker, and he has had, his 2007 has been worse than anybody's. Only Chinese toy manufacturers have had a worse 2007 than Tristan Davis. You like current events.
Nice.
We like that deal, like Auburn News.
Nice.
Seriously, only played in 1 game and didn't make much of an impact against Florida. Tristan Davis is very, very excited about the chance to make a play in the Iron Bowl. And as players pointed out all week, Auburn and Alabama players both, if you make a big play in the Iron Bowl, it changes the rest of your life. And Tristan Davis and everybody else in orange and blue or crimson and cream, crimson and white?
Crimson white.
Who the hell knows? Anyway.
We can say that on the internet.
Whatever.
Green. We can say green.
I don't cover Alabama. I'm sorry, Alabama fans. Anyway, that's what they dream of, is making a big play in the Iron Bowl. Nice recovery.
When you talk about other subplots, let's talk about real quickly Nick Saban and Tommy Tuberville. Obviously, Saban was expected to come in and rectify this team, and now they've only won 6 games. Tommy Tuberville with the rumors swirling about Texas A&M. Nick Saban's comments on Monday some really over-the-top comments, over-the-top. Thoughts on some of the? I mean, does that make this game even more? I mean, you always need hype for. You don't really need hype, but you always have some sort of hype for rivalry games. Now you got the rumors with Tommy coming out this weekend saying he loves Auburn, and he's going to stay until they don't want him anymore. And Nick Saban's comments. Your thoughts on the coaches?
Well, I think Nick Saban is crazy like a fox. I mean, if he believes what he's saying, if he believes what he's saying and what he's saying is what it sounds like he's saying, that's beyond absurd. Although this is, of course, the lack of perspective that we endorse when we pay football coaches $4 million or $3 million a year. You lose perspective that this is just a game, as Nick Saban clearly has done, or appears to have done. But at the same time, he's taken a lot of the focus off the fact that his team just lost at home to Louisiana Monroe. He's taken a lot of focus off the return of those guys from the textbook thing, frankly, from that whole story of NCAA violations and the questions surrounding that problem. I think it's a pretty canny move. I'm not sure that he did it on purpose, but it has paid off. Tommy Tuberville, obviously, saying that he loves Auburn and loves the Auburn people, obviously left himself some wiggle room there. Did not say that's not the same thing as saying I'll coach Auburn next year. But it's reasonably close, and it's certainly his most emphatic statement of interest in Auburn to date.
And you've been the proponent that Tommy will not leave as far as all the X's and all the things that we've talked about, contract and the buyouts, and obviously for personal reasons, family. And
the pro side of the ledger for staying at Auburn is much longer than the con.
And so that was, like you said, probably his most concrete statement, if he'll stay at Auburn or not. It remains to be seen, and this is the Iron Bowl week, so
it'll be a long December.
Predictions, Colin. I let you go last week, 2 weeks ago. Predictions for this game.
I escaped before the Georgia game, as loyal viewers will remember. My Iron Bowl prediction is going to be the same as my Auburn prediction from here on out until further notice. Auburn 13-10. Again, I think this is going to be an ugly game. There's not going to be a whole lot of offensive highlights, but I do think Auburn has a couple more plays than Alabama does.
It comes down to a big play, an interception, fumble, return, usually at the last second. 3 points, Auburn, somewhere by 3. It's probably going to be more of a 10-7 game defensive battle. In the rain, Saturday night, Jordan-Hare Stadium.
This, of course, clinches a 56-55 triple overtime game.
So it's going to happen. And plus,
we picked a low-scoring game.
That's right. 7-3, 7-6, 13-10. Jordan-Hare Stadium, the Iron Bowl, Saturday night. You'll be there. We'll be watching. We'll be back next week to recap and to see where Auburn goes bowling. For Collin, Mickle, I'm Mike Szvetitz. See you next week. Thanks.